It's business as usual for Peter Parker. Jonah is chewing him out for something.
You mean to tell me that you spent the whole evening with one of the most beautiful movie stars in the world and you don't have any pictures?
If you were out with a beautiful movie star, would you be thinking about pictures? Jonah wants him to try again, but Peter will need a car from the Bugle's motor pool.
Parker, did you know that for the first 10 years that I ran this paper, I rode the subway to and from work every day in all kinds of weather?
No, sir, I didn't know that.
I think it did me a lot of good. Just as I think it's going to do you a lot of good.
Does that mean I don't get the car?
Parker, you'll get a car from me the day that the Statue of Liberty roller skates down Fifth Avenue.
Okay, we'll get right on that. Peter needn't worry. There's someone here with even more authority than Jonah.
Here, sign this.
What is it?
The motor pool has to have a requisition.
Well, doesn't he have to sign it?
Hasn't he?
Rita, you're a terrific artist.
I ought to be. Got my Ph.D. from the University of the Streets.
Everyone is at the airport waiting to see the president of Tivilia. He's here because his daughter is competing in the Miss Galaxy pageant. I'm not sure who that guy is. He's connected to the president somehow, but Oddjob and a poor man's Huggy Bear are going to kidnap him.
Welcome to New York.
Thank you.
President Calderon, there must be a reason you chartered a plane instead of using your presidential jet.
Oh, gentlemen, this is not a state visit. Today belongs to my daughter, Maria.
Your eyes and ears aren't deceiving you. That really is Carlos Ramirez from The Flying Nun. I talked about Alejandro Rey there, and he's moved up in the world, from casino owner to president of a fake country. Impressive.
Isn't it unusual for the daughter of a president to enter a beauty pageant?
Oh, nowadays, daughters don't always ask their father's permission. Not even the daughters of presidents.
Miss Calderon, is this your first visit to New York?
No, I was here about 3 years ago when my father spoke for the UN.
What do you want to see on this?
But rather than just yell, "I saw those guys do something to that man," and run over there, he slips away to change. That takes long enough that they get the man into a car. And if ordinary citizen Peter Parker had done things a little differently, she wouldn't have been in danger to begin with. The car gets away. Worse, Peter Parker doesn't have any usable pictures, so he's not getting paid this week. Rita points him to a guy in the art department who's basically a sketch artist. Peter wants to get a drawing of the kidnapper. That seems way too complicated. Just go watch Goldfinger. Harold Sakata will always be Oddjob to American and British audiences. The most amazing thing about his appearance there is, it was his first ever acting job. He was doing professional wrestling, the real kind they teach you in high school, and weightlifting. Harry Salzman and Albert Broccoli saw him and really liked his looks for the part, so they offered it to him. He had zero acting experience or training, and he made the role his own. I don't know how hard it is to teach someone to throw a hat and say, "Oh," but they did it. Talk about starting out your career at the top. The trouble with that was, he found himself constantly cast as Oddjob knockoffs like this one. Peter doesn't care what kinds of issues he has. He just wants to find him and rescue that guy.
What happened?
We got the man from the embassy at the airport.
The airport? Did Salty reach Calderon?
No.
I don't know how he found out. But if he told Calderon that I was in this country, we will never reach the girl.
The victim was trying to tell the president that she's in the country, and the identity of the girl seems like a no-brainer. But who is she?
What do you want me to do with him?
Hold him here. He was one of those who backed Calderon when he overthrew my brother and drove me from my own country. I want him as a witness when President Calderon resigns of his own free will and names me as his successor.
Her name is Lisa Alvarez. Her brother was dictator of Tavilla, and he was a brutal monster. Calderon and his allies overthrew Alvarez and created free elections. His administration has been working hard to undo the evils of the past. Lisa digs those evils and wants them back. Reading between the lines, they executed her brother, so she thinks she should be next in line. At the pageant hall, Peter has signed up to be an escort to one of the contestants.
Gentlemen, the most important thing for you to remember is courtesy and decorum at all times. Our young ladies are from different cultures and different lands. They're guests in our country, and we want them to enjoy their stay here. Since many of our young ladies do not speak English, I'd like first to assign those of you who speak a foreign language.
Peter speaks two, geek and klutz.
Now, who speaks Italian? Portuguese and French? Good.
I can speak some Tavillian.
I didn't know Tavilla had a separate language.
Oh, yes, ma'am. It's a very difficult dialect of Spanish.
My mistake, he speaks three languages, geek, klutz, and baloney. Obviously, he's assigned to Maria.
A cigar?
Oh, yeah. Don't mind if I do.
They are the primary export of my country.
Mr. Parker? Oh, no, thank you. I'm allergic to tobacco.
Papa, how do I look?
Wonderful. Miss Galaxy, at least. Gonna have my eye on you, Parker.
He'd do better to have his eye on Maria, but Barbera has a small obsession about Parker. I wonder what it's like to be a professional camera operator and you have to go around a room like this shooting footage of people's butts. Oh, I know they start and stop 100 times and the music is actually added later. But I would really like to watch these camera people in action to see what kinds of gyrations they have to do to get the shot.
Now, don't tell me that that's the national dance of Tavilla.
No, Miss Warren's prep school, San Francisco. I'll be a sophomore at Stanford next year.
Well, no wonder you don't have an accent.
Not even a Tavillian accent.
That didn't work too well, did it?
It was a bold move, and Papa respected you for it. And I was flattered.
She might not be so flattered if she realized he did it because he thinks she's in danger, not necessarily because he thinks she's gorgeous.
Why don't you sit down while I go freshen up?
All right. Can I get you a glass of wine?
I'd love one, thanks.
We saw who came in and she zeroed in on Maria.
Excuse me.
It's all right, my darling. It's all right.
Hey, Maria, isn't this great? Did you see that gorgeous hunk I landed for an escort?
Well, to tell you the truth, Kim, mine isn't so bad either.
You're kidding. He's cute. Mind if I cut in later?
Sure.
Bye.
At first, Peter can't bring himself to go into the powder room, but when he tells Barbera that Maria has been in there for a very long time, the captain says, "I'll do it." Needless to say, they're both too late. Maria has been taken out the window. That's why a guy like Peter or Barbera should always carry a lipstick in their pocket so they can flash it, say, "Excuse me just a moment," and bop on into the ladies' room.
Mr. President, don't blame Parker. My men checked the window to the powder room. There were iron bars mounted in the window. Somebody somehow tore them apart.
That was Odd Job. He's almost as strong as Spiderman. It's time to get a picture of him.
Yeah. Yeah, and kind of moon-faced. Oh, and a mustache.
How's that?
That's good. That's very good, but his eyes were a little bit smaller.
Moon face with a mustache and piggy eyes. Sounds like my brother-in-law.
It probably sounds like a lot of people's brother-in-law, but Peter has a good sketch of the man, and he'll show it all around the pageant, but none of the contestants has ever seen this guy.
Senor Presidente, the maid is here to clean the room. Should I tell her to come back later?
Oh, it's all right. Let her come in.
It is obvious you love her very much.
Lisa?
Ordinarily, he'd have her arrested on the spot. Not today. What does she want?
Before the whole world on the day of the pageant, you will resign in my favor, ensuring a peaceful transfer of power.
It won't be peaceful for their people because she wants to go back to the oppressive violence of her brother. I don't see that going well. The people took down her brother. She thinks they can't do it again. The traffic lights are against him, but he's able to keep in range of his bug anyway.
Losing.
Beeswax 1 to Beeswax 2. Are you there?
Beeswax 2, over.
Get the car. Circle around to the alley behind the White House. We have company.
We've seen before that Peter is really bad at this tailing thing. He has an electronic tracker. He doesn't have to be obvious. Ordinarily, car chases don't garner a lot of comment from me. This one is different. Oh boy, is it different. I've seen lots of cars go backwards to get to a point where they can turn around and go frontwards, but I don't remember seeing another car chase where one of the cars went backwards for the whole thing. It's an intense chase, and it kept me laughing right up until this. Peter will get himself out right before the gas tank explodes.
Total loss, Parker. The car's a total loss.
Well, at least Peter wasn't hurt.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You won't be for long. I should deduct the cost of that car from your paycheck.
Well, Mr. Jameson, the newspaper has insurance. And besides, it wasn't my fault. Somebody else hit me. I told that to the police.
This would never have happened if you'd been riding the subway. How did you get that car in the first place? I specifically remember telling you that you could not have a car from the motor pool.
Well, boss, don't you remember? You changed your mind.
He insists he didn't until he sees his own signature on the authorization. I'll say it again. Peter needs to go all out to try and marry Rita. But he can do that later. Right now, he needs to show his sketch to President Calderon. The bodyguards won't let him in, so he'll use another door.
drop in on you like this, Mr. President, but I have to see you.
Or a window, as the case may be. The wall-crawling effects keep getting better, and our Spider-Man Fred Waugh is getting more and more comfortable with his movements, especially when he's on the wire. And I've detected almost no green screen since the pilot. Right now, the president is turning a little green when Spider-Man shows him the sketch. He tries to deny it, but it's obvious he knows the dude. Spidey says, "A friend of mine saw this man kidnap Mr. Saltine." Well, we finally know his name. We still don't know who he is, but it's something.
Matsu. He's an assassin, skilled in the arts of death. In my country, the Alvarez family hired him many times to eliminate those they feared.
He confirms that Lisa Alvarez has Maria and wants to return to power. Now he has a fair idea how she pulled off the kidnapping.
Kim.
Oh, hi, Peter. Got any film in your camera this time?
Not this time. Really, now, Kim, this is very, very important.
Sure, what's wrong?
You said at the disco that one of the chaperones went into the powder room just before Maria. Which one was it?
Oh, I don't know. But she was wearing an official badge.
You sure?
Sure, I'm sure. They have her over like mother hens.
That's terrific, thank you.
She's been trying all episode to get him to take her picture, and somehow he's always out of film. Talk about your rotten luck.
As director of the Miss Galaxy Beauty Pageant, I can assure you that every single chaperone has been interviewed by Miss Hayes or myself. We see them personally before they ever get their credentials.
So then you have their addresses?
I've told you, there is no Miss, no Mrs. or Ms. Alvarez.
Ma'am, could you take just one more look at the photo, please? She may have used a different name.
You know, this could be our Miss Garcia.
Miss Garcia. Nice generic name like John Smith. Peter has her address. I wonder how long it's going to take that lady to realize he just confirmed she let a fraud in. There's a curtain across the back window, so they don't know he's there. He slips into the trunk.
Matsu, bring the briefcase, please.
As I said, better and better. That one made me whoa out loud. Remember what he said about being allergic? Who knew it was relevant? I'm confused. Did the star hit him? Did he fall through the railing avoiding it? And how did any of that render him unconscious? While Lisa heads for the pageant to accept her new position, Matsu and Klein, which sounds like a line of high-end men's clothing, are taking Salty, Maria, and the unconscious Spider-Man out to eliminate them. Or not. The webbing effects are getting better too. This show could really grow on you. Irving's rule number something or other. I can't keep track of these numbers. Bad guy always goes for a weapon first. And it's not always a good idea. Now, get Maria in that car and get her to the pageant. But they won't be able to go through the front door. Barbera's cops would be in Spiderman's face no matter who was with him.
Before we begin our festivities this afternoon, it's my honor to present to you the president of Tavalia, who has a special announcement he would like to make at this time. President Calderon.
However they're going to get in, I suggest they do it now.
Papa, wait!
How do you say never mind in Tavalian?
Where is he? I want that Spiderman. Peel off the exit.
Give it up, Captain. Just be glad he's on your side.
Peter, there's no way I can thank you or Spiderman enough.
Oh, well, this exclusive is enough for me. I'm just sorry that Maria missed too much of the judging to win the pageant.
Well, there is always next year.
I think not.
She's gotten a sample of what it's like, and I'm not sure how much she enjoyed herself even before she was kidnapped.
However, meeting Spider-Man was a unique experience. I'll always remember that.
And Peter, remember that tonight you bear even more responsibility for the safety of my daughter.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
They're actually going on a date. Well, Maria could do a lot worse. Peter is polite, respectful, honest, well, as much as he can be, and enough of a klutz that if he tried to make a move, he'd trip over his own face. I like the variations in the webbing. In the comics, Peter could control the consistency of the webs by manipulating the trigger or something like that. We're starting to see that happen like what he sprayed over Lisa. The show is really hitting its stride, and just in time for a seasonal break. It got good ratings, but CBS, in their infinite witlessdom, said it wasn't doing well enough with the adult demographic. So go for advertisers in the demographic where it performs best, duh. But they also said it was too expensive. You may remember CBS as the reason Hogan's Heroes is only on my Patreon and not on here. I had posted reviews of 3 seasons without any issues. Then one day, they didn't even go through YouTube. I got a direct cease and desist from them with threats to sue. After seeking legal advice, I had to take it all down. The Peter Principle is 55 years old and still relevant. Anyway, I really like where the show is going, and I hope that continued in the second British-length season. I'm going to take a couple of weeks off to get going on that, and I'll see you back here when we resume. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more stuff like Hogan's Heroes, you can become a patron for $2 a month and enjoy all the extra content. Don't forget to like this video, and if you're not subscribed yet, hop on board because something is always happening here at Irving Zoo. Until next time. See, the president, he wants to get his girl. Yeah, there's a good girl. There she is. Seriously?